This is KCBD News Channel 11 at 4.
Right now, we are following an investigation into an explosion at a Lubbock home near 76th in Indiana. KCBD's Presley Fowler is live on the scene with the very latest. Presley?
Well, Shaley, that's right. And Lubbock Fire and Rescue is still out here to monitor the situation. You can see on the side of the home here where the bricks just fell off of the house because of that blast. Now, Division Chief Steve Holland tells us the explosion appears to be caused by painters who were spraying lacquer that sparked while they were in one of the bathrooms. For those of you who might not know, lacquer is a protective coating that you can use on wood and other surfaces like metal, and it can be hazardous because it's flammable. Holland says the fire marshal did determine there was a spark in the motor of the airless sprayer they were using to spray that lacquer. 2 burn victims are currently at UMC from this incident, and they tell us that one of the homeowners was inside but was able to make it out safely. The heavy rescue team from LFR is also here because of the possibility of partial collapse. They're making sure that the house is safe as the investigators are inside right now. They also called on the City of Lubbock code enforcement to come inspect the house and determine whether or not a partial demolition would need to happen. Officials say that at this time, neighbors are not in harm, but Lubbock Fire and Rescue will remain out here to make sure that everything stays okay. Shaley, back to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Presley. Backing down, new language from North Korean state media suggests the regime may be pulling back from the escalating war of words with the U.S. Blaine Alexander has more from Washington. Blaine?
Shaley, back to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Blaine. And Congressman Arrington actually spoke about the relationship between North Korea and the United States today. We caught up with him at the Lubbock Lions Club, and that's where Ashley Brown got the story. Ashley?
That's right. Congressman Arrington expressed how careful we need to be moving forward with North Korea. He said if we engage with them, there will be collateral damage, and it's hard to get around that, but he does say we can't sit back and do nothing.
So we've got to be very, very careful, but we also can't do what the last administration did with Syria and Iraq and Iran, and not engage and draw arbitrary red lines and not hold them accountable when our interest, allies, and our homeland was in jeopardy.
Arrington says he expects the president will act decisively and responsibly and work well with Congress on a decision. Watch KCBD at 5 to hear what Arrington had to say about the events happening in Charlottesville. Shaley?
Okay, thanks so much. Well, John, today was kind of like a deja vu of yesterday. So what does that mean for our rain chances? I understand that some rain might be moving into the area right now.
That's right, Shaley. We do have some showers to take a look at that Super Doppler HD3, and obviously we have a lot of clouds around West Texas area. These are just light showers edging into Yoakum County, western Gaines County, parts of Lee County, but I do know that the potential is there for showers to become thunderstorms a little bit later on in those southwestern areas and maybe across the central portions of the South Plains as we get on into the evening hours. And there will be some activity in New Mexico that again will come off of the mountains and try to make its way into the region a little later tonight, overnight through early tomorrow morning. It may not be quite as active though as it was this morning, so may get a break in those northern areas from some of that heavy rainfall they've had the last couple of nights. In the meantime, for Lubbock, you'll notice on my forecast graphic, I'm gradually edging the rain chances up from 20% at 6 and 7 o'clock to around 30% by 10 to midnight tonight. At the same time, temperatures have been mild, only making it to around the low 80s. So I'm going to keep it to the low 80s on around 7 o'clock. If we have some showers, we may actually dip into the 70s a little bit earlier, and it'll be 70s all the way through the evening, Shaley.
Okay, thanks so much, John. We'll add another name to the growing list of business executives who have decided to leave President Trump's American Manufacturing Council. Last night, Intel's CEO announced he will no longer serve with the group. In a blog post, he said his decision was based on the worrying direction of U.S. politics. He wrote, quote, "I resign to call attention to the serious harm our divided political climate is causing to critical issues, including the serious need to address the decline of American manufacturing." Well, the violence in Charlottesville, Virginia has some people in Dallas wondering if it's time for Confederate statues to come down. Steve Pickett has the story. Well, coming up in What's Trending, you will find out what former Red Raider made his long-awaited return to the baseball diamond after his battle with cancer. And later, John will let us know if we will continue to heat up in these coming days. And you'll find out what one company is doing to make sure that Prince's legacy lives on. But first, we'll tell you everything you need to know about the total solar eclipse that is less than a week away. You're watching KCBD at 4. In less than a week, the first coast-to-coast total solar eclipse will occur for the first time in nearly a century, which raises the question, what exactly is a total solar eclipse? Erica Edwards takes a look at the science behind the celestial sight. Now, if you want to stay up to date with the latest information on the eclipse, you can visit our website, kcbd.com, and then click on that section titled Great American Eclipse. Well, Warren Buffett has sold all of his remaining stocks in General Electric, which was worth $315 million as of June. According to a regulatory filing, Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway dumped what was left of its GE shares sometime in the second quarter. If the company still held the stocks, they would have been worth $46 million less than 3 months ago. It's been a rough year for GE with the departure of their longtime CEO and the decline of stock prices. A GE spokeswoman declined to comment on the news. Well, there were 5 drugs in Tiger Woods' system when he was arrested in May. That is according to a toxicology report. The report lists 2 painkillers, a sleep aid, and THC. Police in Jupiter, Florida arrested the golfer on suspicion of driving under the influence. Officers say they found Woods asleep in his car not far from his home. The next month, Woods checked into a clinic for help dealing with prescription drugs. Woods has undergone 4 back surgeries since 2014. He says in a statement that he had been trying to treat back and insomnia problems on his own and realizes it was, quote, a mistake to do this without medical assistance. Fewer Americans are getting killed by lightning than ever before. Smartphone videos make it seem as if fatal strikes happen frequently, but so far this year, 13 people have died after being struck. That's less than in the 1940s, when more than 300 people died each year. The reason for the drop is simple. Experts say we have learned to stay inside during bad weather. Plus, there has been an increase in the use of defibrillators and the number of CPR-trained bystanders. American workers are saving more for retirement this year. 23% of working Americans increased their retirement savings and their contributions this year compared to last year. That is according to bankrate.com. That is the highest in 6 years of polling. Another 16% said they have reduced their contribution last year. Back in 2011, only 15% increased their saving contributions. Almost a third of millennials increased savings, the highest of any age group. But 5% didn't contribute to retirement savings at all. Still, that number is half of what it was in 2015. And changes are coming to Facebook. Today, conversations under posts will resemble what you see on iPhone text messages when you exchange with other people, comments being placed in light gray speech bubbles. Profile photos will also be changing shape, going from squares to circles. And the icons that line the top of the user's feed have been redesigned, while the globe representing new notifications will now be a bell. Facebook says it hopes the changes will make the site easier to navigate. Pantone Color Institute announced a new shade in honor of the late musician Prince. The color, called Love Symbol No. 2, was inspired by the shade of Prince's custom-made purple piano. He was scheduled to tour with the unique instrument before his death in 2016. Prince has widely been known for his use of the color purple, especially since the release of the film Purple Rain. A representative for Pantone said the color Love Symbol No. 2 enables Prince's iconic status to live on.
This is the First Alert Forecast with Chief Meteorologist John Robinson.
Well, we had some sunshine earlier, but now the clouds are kind of rolling back in. This is a live view from our First Bank and Trust camera here at 98th and Slide. You can see those clouds, but really no precipitation in Lubbock. It's just becoming mostly cloudy with some rain chances gradually increasing over the next few hours. As we look at Doppler radar, we're going to show you first some of the rainfall totals from overnight. Once again, there were small amounts anywhere from Lynn County scattered in and around Lubbock. In fact, amounts around the city of Lubbock have been about 2/10 maybe at the most in most areas, but you go out along the state line here, looks like 1.5 inches anywhere from Morton to Muleshoe, and that little heavier cluster of storms. Up to the north, another day of flooding type rains occurred early in the morning hours, anywhere from Dimmitt, Tulia, in and around Silverton, some pockets of heavy rain around Turkey and Kittiquay, Lake Crosby, ton of light amount, and a little bit of heavier amount in the northeastern corner of Scurry County, but that rain long gone. We've got just a little bit of shower activity down here in Lee County, edging up into Yoakum County, Gaines County, nothing significant. Few storms coming off of the plains of New Mexico. We'll be watching northeast New Mexico and watching the movement of these storms. Obviously, some of these could work their way into the region a little later on tonight. An activity that actually impacted us earlier, still going on along the interstate, working its way towards Dallas-Fort Worth. A quick zoom in to show very light showers, if any at all, occurring southwest of Plains and Denver City, west of Seminole, and back around Hobbs and Lovington, New Mexico. Let's take a look at our forecast then. This will be your raincast. It shows that cluster of heavy rain making its way away from us. This model does show some shower and storm potential increasing. It hasn't happened yet. Temperatures aren't that warm just yet down in the southeast, but progressing again across the southern South Plains later on over the next few hours. Some additional development maybe in our north and northwestern areas. All of this will make its way across the region by midnight tonight, and then I'm going to let it roll through tomorrow morning. One computer model is showing some showers during the morning hours on Wednesday, while another one is not, and this particular one doesn't show anything popping up until Wednesday afternoon. We do expect some isolated showers popping up Wednesday afternoon, but I also expect some warmer temperatures on the way, climbing back into the upper 80s or low 90s across the South Plains. Some of the warmest temps or really hottest temps tomorrow will likely be in the eastern and southeastern South Plains, which has been some of the coolest temperatures this afternoon. Looking ahead on your 7-day forecast, you'll see readings from the low 90s tomorrow, about 90 Thursday. There is a frontal boundary coming through, so this temperature can vary anywhere from 90 to 93 to 88 to 90. We'll have to watch and see how it develops. I've got low 90s Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way into Monday and Tuesday, and obviously we're keeping an eye on Monday because we want sunny skies coming up. As far as that solar eclipse, there's a viewing party taking place at the Science Spectrum. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's going to be science activities, talking about the solar system, you name it. Looks like a great couple of hours to head over to that. That's going to be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Science Spectrum. And a reminder again, do not look directly at the sun. You have to have the special glasses and equipment to view this eclipse, and it'll be about a 78% coverage here on the South Plains and throughout the Lone Star State there, Shaley. But folks will have to travel into the central part of the U.S., or the northwest or southeast to get the full eclipse.
Are you going to travel?
No, probably between here and the Science Spectrum. That's about it.
Good. That's a short drive. We can do that.
It is.
All right. Thanks so much, John. Well, coming up in What's Trending, you will hear the story of a $100 million painting that is finally getting returned to the place where it belongs. It is time to take a look at the videos that are grabbing attention on the web and across the globe in today's What's Trending. A former Red Raider made his return to the mound. Chad Bettis of the Colorado Rockies made his season debut last night against the Atlanta Braves after he was diagnosed with cancer in November. But sadly in March, he found out the cancer had spread to his lymph nodes and he started chemo. As you can imagine, it was an emotional return to the diamond. In his debut, he threw 7 shutout innings and struck out 2 batters. The Rockies beat the Braves 3-0. Now we'll transition from a graduate of the Lone Star State to a game that happened in Arlington. Last night, the Texas Rangers hosted the Detroit Tigers. In the top of the first inning, the Tigers were winning 2-0 with 2 outs. The Detroit batter hit one to short center that looked like it was going to be a hit. That is until Rangers center field Drew Robinson went full Superman to save the day. A Toronto Blue Jays fan went to the ballpark with his glove and caught something he didn't expect, a bat. The Jays were hosting the Tampa Bay Rays last night. In the bottom of the first, Steve Pearce took a cut and his bat flew into the stands. Check this out. This fan gets his mitt and he hauls in the bat. Instead of catching that foul ball, he ended up with Pierce's custom-made bat. An iconic stolen painting worth as much as $160 million is back home. In 1985, it disappeared from the University of Arizona Museum of Art. Police believed a couple walked in and cut the iconic painting from its frame. It remained missing for more than 31 years. Then, in August, a man called the museum saying he'd found the painting at an estate sale. Museum officials confirmed its authenticity and brought the piece back to the museum, where after some restoration, it will finally find its home once again. Cleanup on aisle 3. An airport hangar in Maine was left oozing after a fire suppression system filled the hangar with foam. Officials say the system was accidentally set off during routine maintenance. Employees were forced to evacuate the building, but fire officials say foam is water soluble and does not pose any serious health risks. Airport operations and runways were unaffected by the goo. Stay with us. We'll be right back. John is back with a final look at our first alert forecast. And John, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about the humidity. Like
Plenty
me,
of
my
humidity,
hair.
yeah. I don't know if it helps mine or not, but you know.
Selfishly, I want to know what the humidity is going to be like the next coming days.
It is going to be probably about the same until later in the week. Hopefully by then we'll see some of the heavier showers diminish, so humidity levels will go down. Probably good news for cotton farmers as well. But,
cotton farmers, hairstylists, you know.
You name it, yeah. It's more like Dallas-Fort Worth.
I know it. Okay, thanks so much, John.
All right.
And thank you for joining us. That is all of our time. We'll see you right back here for the news at 5.